Before the war, the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente were formed. On July 28, 1914, war was declared between Austria-Hungary and Serbia, in which Russia supported Serbia. In that same year, the World War began and Russia was at war with Germany. Russia entered the war with the largest army in the world, formed by peasants and working class. They didn't have enough resources, as some people were sent to war without food or weapons. During the war, Russia suffered many consequences. They lost territory to Germany and Austria, they were unprepared for battle, they had food and resource shortages, and there were massive deaths and military failures. But still, the Tsar didn't want to surrender even though the country was not ready for war. This created tension among the citizens. Nicholas II left for war, and Lenin became the new leader. He surrendered the country and signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. Later on, the Allied powers decided not to invite Russia to the Paris Peace Conference. Lenin then created the USSR, which was the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republic. After the Soviets exited the war, a revolution started in their country since many people wanted the Tsar to abdicate. The revolution was divided in two. The first one, which was the March Revolution, was to overthrow the imperial government. And the second one, the October Revolution, placed the Bolsheviks in power. At the end of the Russian Revolution, the USSR changed from a monarchy to a communist country.
The Soviet Union was created in the early 1920s. It was quickly transformed by its revolutionaries from the former Russian Empire to the Soviet Union. In the early 1930s, it suffered an enormous industrialization urged by Joseph Stalin. At the same time, Hitler's Nazi Party rises, and the two superpowers had a mutual desire to expand their territory. In 1939, the Non-Aggression Pact, known as Model of Ribbentrop, was signed by Stalin and Hitler, dividing Europe between two countries. With this agreement in place, Germany invaded Poland in September, and later that month, the USSR invaded the east side. In November, they invaded Finland and conquered the country by March. The peace between Germany and the USSR lasted for about 2 years. According to historians, Hitler from the beginning of World War II had the intention to invade the Soviets. This pact was meant for Germany to conquer West Europe. Hitler wanted to do it at first and then invade USSR. Since he never conquered Great Britain, he chose to invade in the summer of 1941. Hitler hoped to destroy their forces quickly so that they could surrender before winter. Since Germans were not too quick, the Soviets forced them to retreat in December. This fight lasted for 1 year until Germany surrendered at Stalingrad in January 1943. In 1944, Stalin demanded USA and Great Britain to open the Second War Front in the West to take some pressure off the USSR in the East. Following the demanding, D-Day happened, also known as Normandy landings. This was an invasion in Germany to cause them to surrender. The war ended in 1945 when the bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were dropped, but the Soviets exited the war before this happened.
The Cold War had no official beginning, although many people think it started between 1945 and 1947. Many reasons led to this conflict, one of them being their different ideologies within their government and the clash that they created. Another one would be their disagreements in the division of the German territory after World War II, and finally, their seek to expand their ideologies across all the world. The USSR is a key part to this 44-year war. The Soviet Union created the Comecon, in which socialist countries would benefit themselves economically. Within all this trouble, the first official proxy war came into place, the Vietnamese War.
There was a huge tension created within the USA and the Soviet Union by that time. After many proxy wars and many ideological confrontations, the Cold War ended for the Soviet Union when it finally dissolved in 1991. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, which limited the number of warheads that the US and the USSR could have, was implemented. Also, Soviet-affiliated countries started their own revolution, and the USSR did nothing to stop them, which led to the fall of communism and the end of the Cold War.
Joseph Stalin is well known for violating the human rights during his ruling. His form of government was the Socialist Federation, where civil rights were extremely limited. The amount of deaths during Stalin's government is around 20 million people. 1.7 million people died in gulag camps with harsh climates. Prisoners were treated with violence, forced to do manual works, and had little amounts of food. Lenin was also responsible of 3 million deportations. 330,000 people died because of this. Stalin was responsible of the Katyn massacre in 1940, in which 25,000 Polish people were executed. Later, in 1944, the mass grave was found. 10 million people died due to starvation and 8,000 people were executed by Stalin's secret police.